What is going on, everybody? It is Sean here with a little market watch video for you guys. Just kind of wanted to take a look and see where certain cards are standing, and maybe cards to be on the lookout for OP07, which is not quite a month away, but it's also getting pretty close. So just a little small market watch video, just because I haven't done it in a while, and they are kind of fun to make. So, and plus, hopefully this is it's informative to anybody who is curious about what they need to get right now or for OP07. So hopefully you can take something out of this video. But again, if you are new here, please like and subscribe. I just made a red purple law deck list video that includes gameplay, so definitely check that out. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop into it. So we're going to kind of take a look at some of the EB01 cards and see where they're standing. The EB01's been out for, I think, 2 weeks now. For OP06 in my area, at my locals, it was just awful. Like, I could not find any boxes, could not find anything. It was horrible, which is weird because OP05, we were able to find, like, we got a decent amount of product in, but yeah, my OP06 experience was not great. But EB01 has been pretty good, been able to get all the cards I need. So Kid and Killer is definitely a staple that you want. It's starting to be used in Red Yellow Sabo, what I've noticed, and the card is just really, really good. It's super aggressive. 4-cost rush, I mean 7k swing with your opponent has 2 or less life, so it's really good. And it's sitting at $3, which isn't bad. And then another popular card is the Charlotte Flampés, which are infamously going to be used in Black Yellow Luffy. I mean, it's a 2k counter, and being able to take the top or bottom of your life cards and being able to draw a card is just really good. And it looks like it's about the same. It's about at $3. So a lot of the rares are kind of like just staying where they've at. They just kind of stayed at $3. If you watch my unboxing, I did pull the alt art of this. It was like a good $50, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see when 07 comes out, if this card's going to stay where it is or if it's going to increase. I know that Enel is going to be really good in OP07. A lot of people are kind of nervous about that. I'm definitely not looking forward to it. We have the Mr. 2 Bonclay, which is, I objectively, like, might be the best card in EB01. I mean, this card is just absolutely insane. It's also one of the more expensive ones, but being able to ramp and just being able to go toe-to-toe with like any big boss character in the game is just really good. And it has a counter. I mean, not only does it have all these great effects, it has a counter, so it's not a dead card in hand. So yeah, this card is just really good. It's a secret rare, so yeah, it's sitting at a nice $42, so I think this card potentially could maybe go up, especially with OP07. So, but yeah, it's basically, if you play Red Purple Law, you're going to want a playset of these. So, pretty pricey. They're a little bit more expensive than the promo Gordons, but I mean, they're also better. Like, they're one of the best cards in the deck, if we're being honest. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this card goes up the further and further we get away from EB01. And a non-EB01 card is an OP06 card, Hiyori, which has been very sought after for good reason, because 2k counter, and again, being able to manipulate life is just really good. Not only is this starting to be used in Black Yellow Luffy, I think it's starting to be used in Enel, for sure Katakuri. But yeah, I mean, just it being a 2k, I feel like any card that has a 2k counter and has a really good effect is just going to be just good. It's just going to be a very valuable card, not just like play wise, like money wise. It's going to be very sought after. But yeah, this card has gone up quite a bit. If we can take a look here, yeah, it looks like close to, it was at 20, and yeah, it's gone up. So the market price is $22. So yeah, this card is just, it's very good. It's very useful. It is very valuable. So yeah, hopefully you guys were able to get a playset of these before they went up. I know that I kind of had to eat it and just pay this price for like my last one, I think, because I believe I did get a playset. Let's take a look at Moria, which was probably the most sought after card in OP06. Now this card looks like it is still about $20. I mean, yeah, objectively, like, just, you know, if you play black, you're gonna probably want to play this. This has been starting to be played in Sakazuki, Black Yellow Luffy, obviously Moria. But you know, with Red Purple Law getting kind of a facelift, I feel like Moria has kind of started. We've seen less of the Morias, and I feel like a lot of people are playing Sakazuki right now just because they want to play it before it gets banned in June, which is understandable. But yeah, if you've played against a lot of Sakazukis or just any black, you're bound to see this guy. And I mean, it's just an insane card. I mean, an 8 cost 9k, being able to bring back 2 bodies on the board from your trash. It's like you're not really losing anything. Like even if you lose those characters, you can bring them back. It's just, yeah. So something else that I find a little bit interesting is it looks like Perona has dropped a little bit, because I think kind of closer, a little bit before EB01, this card was like a $7 card. It's dropped quite a bit. So it's like sitting at like $1 now, which is interesting. But Perona is really good. I mean, if you play Moria, you're able to starve your opponent really early game, which is really good. And the alt art for this is also really cool. So, and it's really good against yellow. This card early game is really good against Katakuri. But yeah, it looks like it's dropped a little bit because, again, I think less and less people are starting to play Moria because of Red Purple Law. And I think a lot of people are prepping for OP07. We have the OP04 blocker Sabo, which this card has been seeing a lot of play in a lot of different decks. A lot of Black Yellow Luffy. I don't think that this card is used in, well, yeah, I think Black Yellow Luffy, it's used in Moria, Sakazuki. It's really good. I mean, being able to protect your board and drawing 2 and trashing 2, so you're protecting your board, but you're also refreshing your hand, so it's really good. And it's just a blocker. So yeah, and it looks like, I think this card has kind of, for the most part, stayed where it's at. I think it's gone up though a little bit. So yeah, it looks like it's gone up quite a bit, with black kind of getting a lot of different upgrades. So hopefully you guys were able to get your Sabos back in OP04 for a decent price. I know I did. Let's take a look at the black yellow alt art leader from the starter deck 13. So this leader might be the most popular. I still think that Sabo is probably the best of the 3, but it looks like this one's at 30. So I believe it was at 50 at one point. I think a couple of weeks ago, or pretty close to when the starter deck came out, it's at 50. So it looks like it's dropped a little bit, because I think a lot of people are starting to kind of experiment with Sabo and Ace. I know Ace is objectively the worst in the 3, but with OP07, he's going to get a little bit better over time. And I don't know, I just think Sabo is the best of the 3 with its life gain and just the aggression. But I do think that Black Yellow Luffy is a solid deck. Just maybe not as consistent as Sabo. But yeah, as far as the alt arts go for these, I think some of them are really cool, and I think some of them are just kind of boring. I think this one's really nice. I think the Sabo is my favorite of the 3. But yeah, this one's pretty solid. Then we're taking a look at the Gordons, which are the promo cards, which, yeah, if you played Law back in OP05, these were a little bit cheaper. That's when I picked a couple of them up. They were like, I think 20, 30. So yeah, they've increased a little bit. So they're about 40. So really these and the Bond Clays, if you're wanting to play Red Purple Law, these are gonna be what the most expensive cards that, if you can find them and get a good deal on them or trade for them, definitely do it. But yeah, I mean, they help out a lot. These pretty much are the same cards as Raise Max. It's just really nice to have more than 4, because you could run 4 Raise Max and then maybe run like 2 or 3 of these and call it good. Because I don't think that you need to run 8, because again, that's 8 just bricks in hand. So you're going to use them, like more than likely they're not going to stay in your hand. As far as like how expensive the deck is getting a little bit more expensive. And we're taking a look at the alt art leader for Moria. Now this one has dropped quite a bit. Now I remember a little while back it was sitting at like 90 to a little over 100. Looks like it's dropped a bit. It's now 57, or it's at like, yeah, about 60 market price. And again, I think it's just because Moria is kind of we're starting to see a little bit less of it. Still a really good deck, and I think it's still really solid, but I think, you know, with a lot of the changes with EB01, a lot of people are kind of starting to just try kind of older decks and kind of reinvent them, which I think is really cool. But also, again, with Red Purple Law kind of starting to catch up, starting to get some more momentum. And this deck doesn't exactly have the best matchup into it, so that might be why. Me personally, I'll be honest, I've never really cared for this alt art. I mean, if you love it, awesome. Just, I don't know. I've never cared for the alt art of this card. This is the rare case where I actually prefer the original leader over this one, but that's just me. Now let's take a look at the blocker Dofis from OP01. So basically, if you don't know what this card does, it is a 3-cost blocker, but it's on play is look at the top 5 cards and place them at the top or bottom in any order. So you basically get to rearrange the top 5 cards in the top of your deck, so you can kind of basically plan out and be essentially ahead of your opponent. This card has gone up a little bit, I believe, and I think part of that reason is just because I think in OP07, Blue Dofi from OP01 is going to get kind of a facelift, kind of like how Law has. So I think, and that's really exciting because I think that deck is really good. I think Moria is essentially a better version of that deck in a way, but I mean, as far as the Blue Dofi deck goes, it's a deck that ever since I started playing the game, it's a deck that I've wanted to essentially try and build and potentially master. But I also was pretty new to the game, and that deck wasn't really a good beginner-friendly deck. It was a bit more brain-heavy. That's like, you know, going into OP01 Romance Dawn, like you wouldn't recommend somebody playing Red Green Law as their first deck because it's just not a very beginner-friendly deck. And granted, this is back when yellow wasn't a thing, Katakuri wasn't a thing, because normally when I introduce somebody to the game, I usually recommend them playing like Katakuri because, you know, you have luck in your favor and it's just a super easy deck to pilot. I think this is definitely a card that you'll probably want to keep on your radar, especially if you're wanting to play maybe even Boa or Dofi in OP07. Okay, now we're looking at the 9-cost Mihawk. Now this is a card that's interesting to me because I remember a while back it went up quite a bit, and now it's kind of stayed where it's at. So, I mean, if you played Croc, you know what it does. It's really good. It's your top end. It's able to bottom deck essentially and just remove a really scary character off the board. But the alt art for this was pretty sought after, and I believe I sold mine for around 50 back in OP03 or OP04. But yeah, and it looks like it's just kind of stayed where it's at. It's kind of dropped a little bit. So yeah, I think this card's honestly just gonna kind of stay where it's at. I don't see it really going up necessarily. Let's take a look at the alt art leader or Katakuri. So Katakuri is basically a leader that's pretty much lasted. It's like the oldest leader that has lasted and is still relevant in the meta. It has a pretty hard matchup into Red Purple Law and Moria, but it's still played pretty heavily. I think that in OP07, Enel is going to be better than Katakuri, but I think Katakuri is the better leader right now in the format that we're in. And then the last card we're going to kind of take a look at just to close off is the Red Green Luffy from OP01. Now, this leader, this deck has never really had a huge demanding presence in the game. I think a lot of people just like it just because of the art, because I do really enjoy the art for this card. And I think that its ability is fine. So it's just, I think compared to Red Green Law, it's just not even a contest. And even like starter deck Luffy. But, you know, Supernova package, I really enjoyed playing in OP01 and OP02. So if this deck ever got reinvented, that'd be awesome. But I think just overall why this card has kind of stayed at the market price is, again, first set. So it has a special place in the TCG. But also, again, Luffy is a infamous character. I mean, the main antagonist. So the main character of the manga. So obviously this card's going to be sought after even if you don't want to play it. Maybe you're just trying to collect all the Luffy cards. But it's just iconic. So I think it potentially could even get bigger. Like it could grow in value. If you still have this leader, I'd say for sure hang on to it. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to do a little market watch, just kind of see where certain cards are at. Just kind of evaluate and see where potentially some decks could go. But if you are new here, again, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.